ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Season 4 guides for World of Warcraft Dragonflight. We're going to be doing some quickfire guides for the time being. If you do want some more in-depth guides, please let me know, and I will get them done. Just let me know in the comment section below, give the video a like if it did help you, and tell me if I've missed anything as well. We're just going to go through it and get the basics and the fundamentals out of the way. So we're going to start off the Season 4 dungeon guides with Algathar Academy. Now all the dungeons that are going to be coming in Season 4 are all dungeons that have been previously put into the dungeon pool since Season 1 and Season 2 of Dragonflight, so a lot of the mechanics and the routing will be pretty similar. Now remember, everything is subject to change. Routing is different depending on your tank, your composition, and many other variables. So we're going to start off with the key. Starting off with the key, we're going to fly over to this platform, and there will be 5 different dragons over here, Dragonkin, that you can grab a buff from. It'll give you 5% of any of your secondary stats or 10% extra healing. I opt in for the crit, because crit is the best stat for Vengeance Demon Hunters. Now here for me, I'm just going to pull the entire room. Like, you don't have to do this, but it is very efficient. Now, again, these pulls are going to be pulls for a Vengeance Demon Hunter, so if you are playing a different tank, just be wary. Only pull what you are comfortable with, do not overdo it, otherwise you'll probably die, and a dead tank is probably the worst thing you can have in a dungeon. Now, the main abilities here, we got Bark Breaker coming up. As you can see, all the abilities in the middle of the screen. Bark Breaker is just a big slap to the tank, which puts you a debuff where you take 100% physical damage increase. So you need to be making sure you're using it defensive every time. Then we're going to stack up, and when he casts Germinate, you just need to all move the same direction. So here we opt in to move left. The lashes on the ground, you want to make sure you're killing them. So you're AoEing, and then this branch will come out. You need to make sure you interrupt the branch when it does its cast, and then when you kill the branch, it'll drop a green circle on the ground that you have to stand in to get rid of your debuff. Because right now you can see all the players in the party have a debuff on them, which they're taking quite a considerable amount of ticking damage. Now this lash will happen, and as soon as the boss casts Burst Forth, all the lashes will come out of the ground, and they will put this debuff on the tank, which is a poison that needs to be dispelled. Otherwise the tank will take a very large amount of damage, and it is not fun to heal. So you want to kind of dispel, maybe I'd say about 15 to 20 stacks. Make sure you've got someone that can dispel. In this group we have our Paladin and our Druid that can dispel it off me, if they opt into it. And you just pretty much rinse repeat the whole thing. Once the boss is dead, we're going to mount up, and we're going to go over to this platform here, and we're going to head over to Kroth, which is going to be the bird boy. Now this mini-boss is very simple. You have to kill this mini-boss. There's no way around it. If you don't kill this mini-boss, the other platforms will not have the current that will take you to the bosses. So you have to kill this. All it'll do is hit the tank pretty hard, and then it'll use Deadly Winds and Storm Slash. So Storm Slash, Deadly Winds is the one that summons the tornadoes on the ground. As you can see, just make sure you don't get hit by them. Storm Slash is the big tank buster mechanic, and then the Expel Intruders is the big AoE you just saw, that you just need to make sure you are out of the visual, or just LOS behind one of these pillars over here. It makes it very, very simple. You don't get knocked back. Yeah, pretty easy for that one. After that dies, make sure you fly over here, and you're gonna have three groups of birds coming in. The first one's going to be on the ground here. These do pretty much nothing, just nuke them down. The next 2 are going to be up in the sky, and they'll come in waves. The only thing you need to worry about here is the Alpha Eagles. They'll do a cast that you need to interrupt, and also a frontal that you need to dodge. Very simple. Gust is the frontal there, and then the interrupt you want to interrupt is Call of the Flock, I'm pretty sure it is. Just make sure you interrupt it, very simple. So that's that one, and then you've got another round of birds as well, which will come down, which this one will have 2 Alpha Eagles. To start off the boss here, you'll see those orbs come down. You need to make sure you put 3 into that fire orb, so then the boss will spawn. Now this boss will activate, and you want to make sure you pop some sort of defensive at the start, because he will slap you pretty quickly, and make sure no one else is under the boss when it spawns, because the boss will melee whoever's closest, so make sure the tank is closest. Savage Peck is the big tank buster mechanic. Make sure you're always using a defensive for that. It hurts a lot. Deafening Screech is the AoE. You need to make sure you're not stacked together, and make sure you are using a small defensive, maybe on number 3, and then on the 4th one, if you are going for a 4th one, make sure you use a big defensive, because it does ramp up in damage. Then it'll do that frontal that you just saw. You need to make sure you dodge it. And those are the 3 main abilities there. Now, what you're trying to do is make sure you get the boss down to 75%, which is when it will transition and bring the balls from the sky down onto the ground. Then you need to do exactly what you did before to summon the boss in the first place, and to put 3 balls into one of the orbs on the left or right hand side. So you're going to see the transition coming up soon. It's going to Deafening Screech. It's going to drop the orbs. Now we opt in to go fire first. Fire, they're both going to do different things. Fire is going to stun the boss and then make it take a lot more damage. It's going to be a bit of a burn phase, so you kind of want to save your offensive cooldowns for this burn phase. But also the most important thing with these orbs is whenever you transition the boss to any of the left or right orbs, it'll reset the Deafening Screech stacks. Because if you get to about 5 or more, it's pretty impossible to survive at a certain level, especially on Tyrannical. So I think 4 is good, 3 is extremely safe if you have enough damage. But remember, you can only reset it twice, because there's only 2 orbs on the left and the right. So you need to make sure you have enough damage to kill the boss before the Deafening Screech stacks get a bit too high. So the same things here. When you opt in to use the fire orb, these swirls will come down constantly. So that's the negative part of it. The positive is you get to do more damage to the boss during that phase. It's stunned. The negative, and to reset the stacks, the negative is you have to dodge these swirls on the ground. I'm going to wait a little bit until the 4th one's about to come out, and then I'm going to put the orb in so I can stop the AoE as well as reset the stack. So that's a little bit of a tip there. You can kind of tell when it's about to happen. And unfortunately, I die. And now you see it starts getting a bit hectic. There's tornadoes now, everyone's getting pushed back. This is why you want to save the wins for last, because you don't want to be in this phase for too long. But there are orbs, if you didn't see before. So there are a bunch of orbs around when it does spawn. If you can see here, there are orbs with a arrow on them. These orbs are very good because it increases your haste, I'm pretty sure, and also allows you to not get knocked around. So you can just kind of stay still and use your offensive cooldowns when you pick up these orbs. Now there's only 5 around there, I'm pretty sure, that drop, so everyone just picks up 1, or the tank just doesn't take 1, and then another DPS or a healer can pick up another one later if they can. We're going to fly over this way, fly over to the other side now. We're heading over to Veximus. You want to dodge these first 3 mobs in front of you. We're going to hug the left side. We're going to pull all the foragers, and we're going to pull the Abyssal Worm over here. Or the Arcane Ravager, sorry. Now, the main abilities here, you've got the Battle Axe that does a bleed on the tank. You've got the Scepter that does a massive AoE ability, but you need to stun. You've got the Ravager that does a frontal and jumps on people. And you've got the Foragers that also jump on people. So what you want to do here is I'm positioning the mob over here, where you can use these braziers and these like pillar looking things, that you can LOS the ambush that casts from the Ravager onto a ranged target. So the range is going to go and LOS here. It's going to stop the ambush, and then the boss is going to the Ravager is going to do a frontal. So you want to make sure that happens purely for the fact you want everything to kind of stay still. You don't want things jumping around and moving everywhere. Especially the Ravager, because the Ravager's got the most health in this pack. So as you see there, when on our priest, but our priest is shadow melded, you can do that as well. If you're a hunter, you can feign death. If you're a rogue, you can vanish. Plenty of things that you can do in order to remove that. Now once that's down, we're going to go to the next pack, which is across the bridge, which will be these 4. Same thing here. You got Battle Axe with the Severing / Bleed. Mythic Blast from the Scepter that needs to be stunned, and then the Mana Fiends that do Mana Void needs to be interrupted. Otherwise, as you can see on our Hunter, it puts a dot and then does a little explosion at the end. And on an 11, and this is Tyrannical, that almost killed the Hunter. So you can... It's very important to make sure you're getting interrupts on all these. We're going to grab all of them again. This is the exact same pull that we did previously. Bunch of Foragers and a Ravager. Just need to make sure you gather them all. And you're going to do the same thing that you did on the other side where you're LOSing behind one of the braziers or the pillars over there. Just to make sure that the Ravager does not keep jumping away from the rest of the group so you can cleave efficiently. Kill these off, and then we're going to pull these packs. So these packs, there's a lot of interrupts here. You just essentially want to do one pack. Just kill this pack off and then do a double pull. Alright, now we're going to wait for the boss to activate. So this boss is kind of a DPS check, I would say. Because there is a really bad overlap that happens during this where Mana Bombs and Arcane Fissure come out, Arcane Expulsion come out at the same time. I'm pretty sure, no, Arcane Fissure and Mana Bombs come out at the same time. And it does a lot of damage and pretty much one-shots you. The way to offset this is you need to let the boss eat one of the orbs. I'm pretty sure it's during before the second fissure or the third fissure, just to make sure it gets enough energy so it offsets the Mana Bombs and the fissure and it doesn't happen at the same time. I'm not really sure which one it is. Just let me know in the comments which one it is. That would be great. I remember doing this in earlier seasons. At the moment, I don't really remember, but that is the way to fix the bad overlap. But essentially, the boss's mechanics here are the Arcane Orbs. Unless you're pushing the energy bar, make sure everyone's soaking one. The debuff will make you take more damage from subsequent ones. So you don't want to have more than one, but you can dispel them. As you can see, we get a mass dispel there. It dispels everyone. If someone's going to soak multiple, you can use an immunity or just get the tank to soak multiple and then just single dispel it off. You saw before, we've got Arcane Expulsion, which is the frontal. Just make sure the tank's facing away from everyone else. Arcane Fissure is going to be the AoE here, which is going to be a knockback, and then it's going to put little circles on the ground. There'll be 3 of them, so 1, 2, 3, and then back to your original positions. Mana Bombs puts 3 debuffs on 3 people. As you can see, we've got our Priest, our Hunter, and our Druid, and it's going to do a lot of ticking damage, and then eventually place a puddle on the ground. Now you can see that almost killed a bunch of them, so if you had something else happen that time, they would have just died. Alright, once the boss is done, we're going to go over to the bridge over here. This will be a double pull. Again, a lot of interrupts here with the Mana Fiends. Scepter, make sure you're stunning the ability to cast from it, the Mythic Blast. And the Battle Axes will do the bleed on the tank. I'm going to kill all those. Once we've killed those, we're going to go up the ramp here. To the right-hand side, I'm going to go to Echo of Doragosa, which will be the last boss. Now, they did do some changes to this boss, just ever so slightly. The boss now has 2 orbs or portals on the ground. I'm not really sure what you call them. But 2 things on the ground that spawns orbs at the start of the boss instead of not having any start of the boss. So at the beginning, you're going to have to start dodging orbs already off the bat. Now, these mobs, they're pretty simple, but all you need to know about these mobs is that Arcane Missiles is pretty much the only thing you want to interrupt. The Echo Knights are going to do the Astral Whirlwinds. You just want to make sure you're not in melee range. The Echo Knights just do the Whirlwind, which you can dodge, or just be max melee. And then the Invokers will keep doing 2 abilities. And the only 2 abilities they do are the Arcane Missiles, which you need to interrupt, and then the Arcane Bomb, which you want to actually activate onto a player. And once that bomb goes off, you want to be putting the outside of the bomb on the mobs, because it actually does damage to them. So it's an easy way, especially on fortified weeks, to really burn these mobs down as fast as possible. So then we're going to go on the boss. As you can see, the boss will immediately cast Unleash Energy and put 2 swirls on the ground. Now these circles will always periodically shoot out orbs, which you need to dodge. If you do get hit by an orb, you take a little bit of damage, and you will get a stack of the debuff. Now the debuff is all a positive and a negative aspect. The positive is you can get 2 stacks and you'll be fine, and you'll do 10% extra damage. But as soon as you get a 3rd stack, it'll drop immediately and put one of those pools on the ground where you were when you got that 3rd stack. Now the only way to get a 3rd stack is by getting hit by a mechanic, or you get chosen. You get chosen by the boss, and you'll get a AoE around you, which I'm pretty sure is the energy bomb. Yep, which is the energy bomb. You'll see you have a circle around you. So if you know that you got the energy bomb, or you accidentally get hit by something, just try to be on the outsides instead of just right under the boss or near the middle of the room, because you are going to make it a lot harder for people to dodge the orbs, and the faster those orbs, those circles drop on the ground, the more things people are going to have to dodge, the more chances people are going to get hit by stuff. And then the only other thing you need to do is dodge the frontal like every dragon boss in the game, and don't get hit by this massive AoE that he vacuums people in. And that's pretty much the fight, really. Like, you'll see we fill up the entrance here, and then we just I move him to where the previous puddles disappeared, just so we all have a little bit more room. But yeah, that's the dungeon. If you have any concerns or questions, please put them in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching. Give the video a like, and I'll keep on continuing with the dungeons and putting some YouTube shorts. Yeah, thank you very much for watching, everybody. Peace out and stay safe. I'll see you in the next one.